Hi there! In this week's realistic colored pencil portrait, I'm drawing the great
Baylee Jae.
If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel and click that little notification bell so that YouTube will hopefully notify you every time I upload a new video. So, I bought myself a little microphone. It's not real fancy, it was like 30 bucks on Amazon and it just plugs into the computer. I think the audio sounds pretty decent. It's a lot better than whenever I would have to take my camera and go underneath the blanket on my bed to somewhat soundproof it. It would get so hot under that blanket, but that's where I got the best audio. So this is much easier for me and hopefully it's easier for you guys to listen to. So if you don't know who Baylee Jae is, I feel sorry for you.
Just kidding.
She is an awesome art YouTuber I have been watching for a few years now, and I absolutely love her content, art style, her sense of humor, when she sings that I Am a Little Ducky song, and her two adorable BBs. With this piece, I did try to focus a little more on measurements and getting everything exactly where it's supposed to be, and I'm very happy with how this one turned out. I actually kind of surprised myself with how close to the reference image it looks. I used a purple coal erase pencil to do the outline sketch because a lot of the colors in her skin are of the pink variety, so I thought it would blend quite well when it came to the shadowed parts, and also I didn't have to worry about erasing a heavy graphite outline, so that was nice.
Lincoln, no, Bubby. No, Lincoln. Don't you dare. Not where I'm at. No! Lincoln, no! Don't, Bentley, don't. Lincoln! Go to bed. Yeah. Dude! No way did he do that! Can this get much worse? I spilled sour cream on me and then Lincoln shuts it off. Nowhere near a save file.
And steps in the sour cream that you just spilled.
Oh my gosh, I've listened to that 100 times and it gets me every time. I know it seems like I'm not really putting down any color at all, but I'm just doing my layers as light as I possibly can so that I have more time to build on those colors, because I really wanted to get those shadows deepened as much as they needed to be, but I didn't want it to look scratchy or to go in too heavy-handed, so I tried to go as light as possible. It did take a very long time, and it looks like there's not much going on here, but I promise it's going to get there. A super fun fact about this drawing is that yesterday morning, when I sat down and started recording this footage that you're seeing right now, I got about halfway through the sketch when I thought, this seems familiar. I had already sketched and recorded this part of the video 2 days prior. I stopped everything, dug through all my loose papers, and sure enough, there it was. The old sketch that I had already done of Baylee. I could have kicked myself for wasting this time and not remembering that I had already done it. But as I looked at my previous sketch and compared it to the new one, I was actually kind of glad, because the new one looks so much better. It's so strange. Like, I didn't even realize how off my previous sketch was until I compared it to the redraw. So maybe it was my subconscious telling me that I needed to redraw it. Either way, I guess I'm okay with it now. I'm taking my time much more slowly with this piece so I can really focus on getting certain areas colored and shaded exactly how I want them, and trying not to be too afraid of putting color down. I actually did the smart thing and did a little bit of research on how to film, because in my last video when I did Ray's portrait, I had to edit out so many fraction of a seconds or half seconds because my camera would focus and then go out of focus over and over again as I was drawing. But since my camera is above me and I'm looking down at my artwork, I didn't know this was happening, and I got the joy of finding this out as soon as I started the editing process. So that was fun. Even though her eyebrows are a darker brown color, you can still see bits of her skin color showing through them. In her earlier vlogs, she had almost no eyebrows, and it wasn't until later she started getting them microbladed, which they look super good microbladed, don't get me wrong, but I also thought they were kind of adorable the way they were before too. But I'm still gonna go ahead and color in a skin tone underneath and then put the eyebrows over it so it looks a little bit more realistic and natural. So this is the part that I felt the skin really started coming together. It really started looking nice, and I think it's just because I was starting to add those darker layers on top where you could finally see them, especially on camera. I really just wanted to be so careful to make sure that everything went in the right spot, because even though you can erase this colored pencil, it's really difficult, and I really didn't want to have accidentally put down too dark of a color and then not be able to remove it and make it look like she's got a dirt stain on her face. Watching the footage back now, I really wish I had been more careful when I was burnishing the hair, because looking at the clips of it, it had some really nice highlights showing through, and I just completely covered them up when I went to burnish it with the pink, so I will definitely make a note of that for next time. And also, when I decided to go ahead and burnish the skin to try to get a little bit more of a richer tone, I once again got way too ahead of myself like I did my first piece on Ray's portrait, and I had just been working on this for so many hours at this point that I was just ready to be done. I was excited with how good it looked, and I feel like I kind of ruined it a little bit with the way I burnished the face. I didn't do soft circles like I should have and kept it consistent. I think it would have looked really nice if I'd have still used the same technique as I did with the rest of the skin, because it looked really smooth and flawless before I went to burnish it, and now you can see it's very scratchy and there are certain parts that are darker than others, but all in all, I'm really happy with how this one turned out. Okay, well here is my finished piece, and you know, her eye may be a little crooked, her smile may not be as wide as it is in the reference, and the color of her hair was that really bright cotton candy pink like it is in the reference photo before I went and added more dark unnecessary layers to it and burnished it. I kind of lost the highlights to it, and that makes me kind of sad, but even with all those flaws, this is still probably my most favorite piece of art that I've ever created. I am so incredibly proud of myself and not ashamed to say it, and it's of one of my favorite YouTubers, so I mean, there you go, double whammy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Maybe share it with somebody else who you think might enjoy it. Once again, don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, because I do plan to have more content out like this in the future, plus maybe a few watercolor illustrations or portraits that could possibly also be in the works, so stay tuned for that. Alright, thanks guys, bye.